Thanks, Catherine. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Apologize for being a little late. We'll get started right away with questions that we have waiting people here in person, and then we'll go over the phone. So any questions, please raise your hand so we get a mic to you if you have a question for Coach Kelly. If you've got no question, Rick Morgan.
Just start off with, give us your quick scouting report on Cal, both sides of the ball.
Obviously, run a 3-4 defense since Clancy Pendergast came in a year ago. Active, 4 real good linebackers. Create a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Some secondary guys that are skilled that came back from last year. Mark Anthony's back, Katus is back, Steve Williams is back, guys that have played against us and they're solid. On the offensive side of the ball, they have athletic quarterback, 2 outstanding receivers, and Marvin Jones and Keenan Allen. They're an I formation team, but they're multiple in what they do. 2 real good running backs. They're a balanced offense. So, there's a lot of familiarity. Once you're back in the league, we've played Cal, and they've had the same coach for the last couple of years, and they've played us, and we've had the same staff for the last couple of years. So we're pretty familiar with each other.
Last season, there was that prolific drive at the end of the game at Cal. Can you tell us what you guys talked about when you were huddled up sort of on the sidelines, and about how Oregon can make a sustained drive for that period of time?
Yeah, we just talked about running the clock out, and either scoring, because obviously what we were up to at the time would have given us, a 9-point lead, which would have made it a 2-score game, or not giving the ball back. So we just said, hey, we got to buckle down and let's go.
You talk about being familiar with Cal. Obviously, Maynard is kind of one unknown, you haven't seen a pretty good sense of what he can do.
No, and that's a good point. Not until you see him in person and kind of getting an understanding of who he is and what he's done. We've got 4 games of them, just like they have 4 games of us. We've had a chance to scout them, in the Colorado and the Washington and Presbyterian and the Fresno games, so you can kind of see where they are. But they're running similar things to what Coach Tedford's offense has run in the past, so it's not like they've drastically changed. Hey, they got a new quarterback and they're running wishbone. They're still pretty much what you expect out of a Cal football team. Very well coached, very skilled in the offensive line. A lot of those offensive linemen have been around. Seem like they've been around for a while. Summers, Gavin, and Schwartz, and those guys have been around for a long, long time. So we expect the same type of Cal attack. Obviously, it gets tailored depending on who your quarterback is, but you can't get a real assessment till you try to see those guys in person.
Back to Rick Morgan.
Last year, Cal was caught kind of taking some injuries, that kind of thing. I don't anticipate that would be the case this year, but was there any communication to the league office to clarify policy on how that would be called if it does come up again?
It's not a penalty, so we don't have any communication with the league office on it.
Jerry?
Coach, Cal last year was one of the very few teams that was able to kind of slow your offense down. Other than that 3-4, are they doing anything unique defensively?
No, I've said this before, they executed. And they were very well coached, and they did it for most of that game. They did a better job than us executing. That's what this game comes down to. It doesn't matter if it's whoever your opponent is. It's the players are they executing and doing what what the game plan is that's been implemented that week between both coaching staffs. I think our job as coaches is to put our guys in position to make plays, and then get out of the way and let them make plays. And those guys made some real good plays on defense, and you got to give them credit. So it was for most of that game, they out executed us from an offensive standpoint. So.
Warren?
Coach, 2 good receivers on Cal. What kind of stress will they put on your secondary?
They're 2 good ones, and they both have good size. Both Keenan and Marvin are 6'3" type kids. Listed at that. So, they both go after the ball. They're both physical receivers. So it's going to be another challenge. Fortunately, we had a big challenge last week. We played Arizona in similar size type receivers in Kreiner and Buckner and that crew. So hopefully our experience from last week will pay off for us this week. But those 2 receivers do have our attention. So.
Catherine, we're going to go to the phones. Are there any questions waiting there? If you have a question, please press *1 on your telephone keypad.
Our first question comes from the line of A.J. Jacobson with Duck Sports Authority.
Coach, you graduated 4 seniors off that offensive line last year, yet the line's playing pretty well this year. Who's emerged in that group as leaders so far?
Mark Asper, know, I would say is really the one guy that's emerged as the leader of that group. He's got the most experience coming back and has really done a nice job in there. I throw Carson York and Darian Weems in that mix also.
Our next question comes from the line of Steve Summers with educ.com.
Chip, I was looking over the defensive statistics over the first 4 games, and the statistics are very similar to last year's first 4 games. In fact, you have more sacks. Are you satisfied with the progress of the defense, and what areas would you like to see it improve?
Well, we can always improve, and I think statistics, especially in just a short body of time, is very difficult to look at. You know, we played LSU this year. We didn't play LSU last year, so it's tough to compare this year to last year because the opponents are different. So, you know, the biggest statistic for us is points scored against, just like the biggest statistic offensively is points scored for, because that's what this game comes down to. But, you know, we're improving as a group on defense. I think they have a great knowledge and understanding of what we're doing. We still need to tackle better, but I'll say that every game we ever play in. If we miss a tackle, then I can say we need to tackle better. But those are fundamentals. But I love our guys' effort, and I love, you know, how much they study the game and how they're in tune to what they're doing. So we'll continue to improve as those guys get more experience.
So our next question comes from the line of David Bush with BaronSlider.com.
Yeah, my question was going to be about the defense too. Just specifically, who has really emerged on that defense? Do you think that you're really happy with this year?
Our defense?
Yes.
I'm happy with almost all of them. Deion Jordan and Brandon Hanna, Terrell Turner, Taylor Hart on the defensive line. You know, Michael Clay, Josh Caduce, Boseko Lacumbo, DeWitt Stuckey at linebacker. Really happy with the way John Boyette and Eddie Pleasant are playing at the safeties, and then our young corners, Troy Hill and T. Mitchell, are guys that I think have done a real nice job for us.
Our next question comes from the line of Michael Konowitz with KWVA Radio.
Coach, do the things that Cal did to slow your offense down, does that have any bearing on your preparation for this week?
Yeah, you always look at what people do in the 4 games that they played this year, and then how they finished out last year, and then obviously when you play in league games, you look at how teams defended you a year ago. So we look at everything that they're doing in terms of what we have to prepare for as we get ready for this game on Thursday.
Our next question comes from the line of John Krumpecker with San Francisco Chronicle.
Yes, Chip, if you look at the opponents faking injuries this season in your first 4 games, has that happened at all?
Nope.
Okay.
Your last question comes from the line of Ryan Gorsey with Rivals.com.
Hi, Coach. With Clint Harris out a bunch of the first few games of the season, how much has that affected your defense? And having him back now, at least in a semblance of a full-time role, how much will that help?
Well, Cliff was only out for the opening game, so we knew that going in. Everybody on our team knew that going in. But since then, I think our defense, I don't believe in the LSU game we missed him, and I don't believe in any other games he's contributed. So we play with who's available, and that's all we talk about. We don't talk about who's not there.
There are no further questions at this time.
Okay, we'll come back. Questions here that remain. Adam?
Ken Young back, obviously had a nice game against Arizona. What's the challenge and the opportunity, I guess, when you've got some versatile guys in the backfield now? You've seen what DeAnthony can do. He took kind of a backseat against Arizona, but as an offensive coach, what's the challenge, and I guess how exciting is that to be able to have that many weapons?
You know, it's always good when you have playmakers to use, and it's our job, you know, to make sure we exploit them. But I think, you know, if you look at the game against Arizona, you know, we were running the ball pretty good, so you know, it wasn't necessary for us to get to some other aspects of our game because of what was working for us. And if things are working for you, you're going to stick with it. If things aren't working for you, you know, you have some other options to go to. But that's always kind of been our philosophy. Is, you know, we're using A, and if A works, we're going to continue to use A. You know, if A doesn't work, then you got to move on to B or move on to C. So.
What's the substitution process or pattern? I mean, is it just if Michael gets tired, Kenny on bumps in?
It really isn't. It's up to Coach Campbell. Substitutes our running back. So, you know, he's in charge of that. He does. All of our position coaches monitor their own positions. So, you know, it's hard for the play caller to say, hey, do this, and then substitute this guy, and then get this guy in. You know, everybody takes care of their own position. Cam has a running back, Scotty has a wide out, you know, Oz has the tight ends, and Wood has the O-line, and it just depends on, you know, we're not afraid to play anybody, and we just know the rotation that's in the game, and then we go.
Rick?
Just from a personal point of view, do you prefer a night game or do you prefer playing in the day?
I'd rather play early games, you know. I just, you know, we're always kind of, you want to get up. It's like we practice, you want to get up, you want to go to work. But we don't have a vote, so we don't make a big deal out of it. So if they want us to play at midnight, we'll play at midnight. If they want us to play at 6 a.m., we'll play at 6 a.m. So.
Let's not do 6 a.m.
What's that?
Let's not do 6 a.m.
We don't care. So you couldn't play for me, right?
Warren?
Coach, along that same line of scheduling, you're a creature of habit, I guess, with practice schedules, but is it more difficult to be off your days as far as scheduling for a Thursday night game?
No, because we are creatures of habit, and that's a good question. Today's a Tuesday for us, so that's how we approach it. So yesterday was Monday, today's Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday, Tuesday is Thursday, Wednesday is Friday, and then game day is Saturday. So we still have the same amount of preparation before that game. It would skew a little bit if you played a game on a Saturday, then had a game on a Thursday. Now you got a short week that you got to work with. But fortunately for us, we had the week off before, so we could still use that same schedule. We just have to make sure that guys know today isn't Sunday, today's Tuesday, from a preparation standpoint.
Tim?
Chip, new quarterback for Cal. Have you seen their offense evolve at all in the last couple of years under Coach Tedford?
It's similar. I think they asked the question earlier, Ken, but you know, a Jeff Tedford offense is a Jeff Tedford offense. I think, you know, they're very multiple in what they do. They try to be balanced in running and throwing. They try to exploit, you know, try to find the weaknesses in what you have defensively and try to exploit them. But they're not, you know, it's not like they have a new guy, so they're running a different offense than when they had Kevin Riley in there. You know, they're still similar. You know, this kid seems like he's a little bit more athletic and can run a little bit, but it's not like they're running the wishbone or anything. So.
Any more questions? Oh, Ken, I'm sorry.
Y'all risk asking another one that might have already been asked and answered. DeWitt Stuckey that sort of stepped in, an inside linebacker. How has he played so far?
Real good question. DeWitt has played very, very well for us. You know, and really taking an opportunity. And he knew it, I think, in the offseason is when Casey and Spence graduated, that there's going to be an opportunity for him to play. He played in the rotation last year, but now he's moved up in the rotation and has played really well. Thought he played really well against LSU. Played really well against Arizona. You know, and has really come on. He's a smart, he's an intelligent kid. He's been here. This is his 4th year. Him and Josh Kadu both played as freshmen for us, so they got a lot of game experience, both in special teams, and now really taking advantage of the more snaps that he's getting. But he's done a nice job, and we've been really, really happy with him.
Jen?
What is Cliff's status on the team and, I guess, role kind of after coming back from suspension?
Cliff's cornerback, number 13, plays for us just like everybody else. I'm confused with the question, what his status is.
No, I mean, how is he contributing?
Cliff's playing corner. I mean, I thought he did a nice job against Arizona and did a, you know, in the amount of snaps he gets. But we rotate guys on defense, so it's the same rotation that we normally do. You know, he's rotating in with, obviously Thomas Jackson isn't there, but now he's rotating in with Anthony Gilden and Terrence Mitchell and Troy Hill at the corner spot for us. So.
And he's performing well at practice?
Yeah.
Catherine, I'm coming back to the phones one more time. Are there any more questions awaiting there? Please press *1 if you have a question.
We have a follow-up question from A.J. Jacobson with Duck Sports Authority.
Coach, sticking on the offensive line, can you give your evaluation of the performance so far this season from redshirt freshman center Ronas Grassu?
Ronas has done a nice job stepping into a real difficult position. Playing for us, playing center is obviously very difficult at the collegiate level. You have to make a lot of the calls up front. You also have to make sure you get the snaps good, back to the quarterback in the proper way, and kind of running the show up there. And I thought Ronas has done a real nice job, considering that he is a redshirt freshman and had no game experience, and his first game experience came against LSU. But been real happy and pleased with Ronas's progression as the season's gone along, AJ.